trip your way.
Well, I certainly wouldn't blame you at all if you were trying to escape these cold, disgusting temperatures and the conditions that we've been dealing with. If you are traveling south, I am incredibly jealous. I would like to come in your suitcase, please. Puerto Vallarta, 29 degrees. Acapulco, 33. Guatemala City, 25. Cancun, rain, but who cares? It's 22. In through Puerto Rico, it's hot, it's sunny. Aruba looks great. And Antigua, daytime high of 30 and sun. Hi there, good morning. Thanks for joining us on this Monday. It is January the 6th. It is cold, it is snowing, we've got freezing rain, ice pellets. I'm Emily Vukovic. Welcome to school and work. Welcome back. I know everybody's going to be busy this morning. The commute is going to be a disaster because there's going to be a lot of people on the roads. You really need to keep your winter driving in check this morning. Happening, and of course, he'll take you through the flooding that's happening on the QEW as well. Here's a look at the radar. The blue is the snow, the pink is the mix, and the green is the rain. And as you can see, a lot of it has moved out of our area, which is good news. But behind this, we have really cold Arctic air coming in. So all of that moisture that we're seeing, all of the puddles on the road, all of the freezing kind of slush that's around everywhere, it's going to freeze. So anywhere south of the 401, it is going to be very dangerous driving conditions. Now, we do have blizzard warnings and snow squall warnings to the typical snowbelt areas. And I have to tell you this, Environment Canada issues watches and warnings, and as they print out, they usually come with a discussion. And I was reading the discussion this morning, and I very rarely see this, but it actually said life-threatening risk for travel. So if you are living, if you're planning on traveling towards London or Waterloo or in through Kitchener, Goderich, towards Owen Sound, in through Barrie, Haliburton, Hanover, Grey Bruce, do not go. If you don't have to, don't go, because some of these areas can see anywhere between 30 to 60 centimeters of snow. You throw in a cold Arctic wind with wind chill values feeling closer to minus 30 to minus 40. That is dangerous driving conditions. Now, our temperatures have already started to drop. When I drove in, I was at 2 degrees through Oakville. We're now sitting at minus 2 through Toronto, feeling closer to minus 9. By the afternoon, temperatures dropping even more significantly. It's going to feel closer to the minus teens. We're looking at minus 18 is what it's going to feel like through Hamilton. So, now that we've got all of the watches and warnings out of the way, this is how it's going to play out. We've got that area of low pressure continuing to track its way east. Behind it, very cold northerly air. This is Arctic air we're talking about. This is the wind chills of tonight, minus 30, minus 40. So incredibly cold. That's why we have the flash freeze warning. Squalls are going to be coming off of Huron and Georgian Bay through the overnight and literally continuing for the next 3 days. We talk about snowfall amounts. Toronto, less than 5 centimeters closer to the lake, but Toronto more so for the flash freeze. That's going to be more so your issue. Areas around Wyerton and the snow blizzard kind of areas that we were talking about, 30 to 60 centimeters of snow. Now, in through Barrie, you're right on the cusp of this, so you could see 15 to 30, but don't be surprised if you pick up more than that up towards the Muskoka area. It is not going to be a good couple of days for travel. Speaking of travel, I'm going to turn things over to Tom. He's got an update on traffic. Hi there, thanks for joining us here on the Weather Network. I'm Emily Vukovic. It is Monday. It is January the 6th. A lot of people going back to school and work today, and it is going to be an absolute mess. We have watches and warnings to get you through. We have lots of video of what's been happening in and around Southern Ontario. Take a look at the radar. We'll show you the snow, the rain, the freezing rain. It's all kind of mixed in, but the good news is that it's all traveling east. The bad news is that what's coming behind this is incredibly cold air. We're looking at Arctic air filtering in. Wind chills by tonight are going to be feeling like the minus 30s to the minus 40s. That is why we have a flash freeze warning in place. So Hamilton, Toronto, through Port Colborne, all the way over towards Kingston, up towards Ottawa. Any kind of moisture on the roads, that kind of slushy, nasty mix of gross that you're going to be driving in this morning, that's going to freeze. And that is going to give you dangerous driving conditions. What's happening further north of the city of Toronto, we're looking at blizzard warnings and snow squall warnings. Reason being, we have got very intense bands, snow squalls, really really starting to fire up later on this afternoon with those cold Arctic winds. So we could see 30 to 60 centimeters of snow. Reading the discussion from Environment Canada, this is life-threatening for many people that have to be traveling throughout the next couple of days, because this is not just a one-day event. This is going to continue through Wednesday. So keep that in mind. If you do have travel plans, if you're traveling up toward Barrie, if you're off towards Haliburton or Muskoka, if you are going to, if you're traveling from Waterloo to areas closer to Lake Huron, don't do it. Just don't go. Stay home. Change your plans. We're looking at -2 currently. When I drove in, it was +2, so we've already dropped 4 degrees. Feeling closer to -9 when you factor in that wind. And then this afternoon, temperatures really start to cool down. This is where it starts to get significant. We're looking at temperatures into feeling closer to the -teens. As this plays out this morning, there goes the bulk of the moisture. Here come the northwesterly winds, and there are the snow squalls really starting to fire up over Huron and Georgian Bay. So typical snow belt areas, we're looking at 30 to 60 centimeters of snow. That's right, 60. You throw in those Arctic winds, feeling closer to the -40s. That is why it is life-threatening. That is why you do not want to be outside for any extended period of time. When when you have wind chills like that, your skin can freeze in less than 5 minutes. So keep that in mind today as you're planning out your work week. Talk about what's going on the roads. Tom, how's the flooding on the QEW? A hot breakfast this morning would be a great idea. Temperatures are cold, wind chills even colder. This morning we're looking at -6 through Hamilton, feeling closer to -15, feeling closer to -14 through Toronto, feeling closer to -17 in Barrie. If you're going to be traveling anywhere throughout southern Ontario, it will stay cold except to the east. It's still going to be fairly mild as that rain moves out, but down towards the south, Windsor feeling closer to -20.
Closed.
Good morning. It's Monday. It's January the 6th, and welcome back to work, and welcome back to school, and welcome back to Stormwatch. It's like it's never ending throughout southern Ontario. We've been in Stormwatch all weekend long for the system that's moving through. We have seen snow, we have seen freezing rain, we have seen ice pellets, and now we're seeing cold air filtering in. The bulk of the moisture has now really started to push off towards our east. The blue is the snow, the pink, that's kind of that mixing, that slush falling from the sky, literally, and the green is the rain. So we're seeing rain throughout eastern Ontario right now. We'll see a closer up shot of that radar coming up. Flash freeze warning with colder air coming in behind the system. We're talking about dangerously cold Arctic air, and this is going to be filtering throughout the day today, and by tonight it is actually going to feel like -35 to -40 when you factor in the wind chill. So through Hamilton and Oakville and Mississauga, through Toronto and Oshawa, up towards Kingston and then through Ottawa, temperatures are going to be dangerously cold. You throw in some snow squalls and some blizzard warnings, and you have life-threatening travel conditions. And this is from Environment Canada. They give out a little discussion when we print out their watches and warnings. I was reading through the discussion today, and very rarely do I see life-threatening travel conditions, and that's exactly what we have. Through Huron and Perth and through Waterloo and Grey and Bruce and through Barrie and Aurelia and Port Carling, that's where we have the blizzard warning. Now, the snow squall warning is up through Newmarket, through Haliburton, Uxbridge, through Huntsville. It is going to be so bad on the roads because not only is it going to be heavy snow, it is going to be blowing around, causing poor visibility, and then you throw in Arctic temperatures feeling closer to the -40s. That's why you don't want to be outside today or tonight or for the next couple of days, because it's going to last. It's not just today. It's going to pick up in intensity by this afternoon. Temperatures are cold. We're looking at -2 right now, feeling closer to -9. When I drove in, it was +2 through the city of Toronto. So we're already starting to see that Arctic air come in. By the afternoon, we're looking at the -teens, feeling closer to -18 in Hamilton. This low moves its way out this morning, and this map doesn't really show the snow squalls. It does, but it doesn't. It doesn't show them in narrower bands, which is exactly what's going to be happening off of Huron and Georgian Bay throughout the day today, continuing literally until Wednesday. The hardest hit areas could pick up 30 to 60 centimeters of snow. That's right, 60. So the Huron and Perth and in through Grey and Bruce, like those hard hit areas, typical snowbelt areas, you don't want to be out on the roads. Speaking of being out on the roads, Tom has all the details. Tom, what's going on with those collisions? I wish. It is going to be freezing for the next couple of days. Tomorrow, we're looking at minus 16 as a daytime high, feeling like minus 29 when you factor in the wind chill. It is going to feel like minus 32 tomorrow through Hamilton. It is going to warm up dramatically by the time we get to the end of the week, but it doesn't look as though it's going to last. Tomorrow through Oshawa, feeling closer to minus 28. The good news in all this, we'll see a little bit of sunshine. Thanks for watching the Weather Network. Our Storm Watch coverage continues on this Monday. It's January the 6th. I'm Emily Vukovic. It's back to work for so many people. It is back to school for so many people. And for so many kids, it's going to be a snow day. Areas further north of the city that have received, well, anywhere between 10 and 15 centimeters of snow. It's making for very tricky driving conditions, poor visibility when you throw in a little bit of wind. Looking at the radar, you can see we've got snow further north. We've got that kind of fine line of mix. That's that pink stuff. It's literally slush falling from the sky in some cases. We have been seeing some ice pellets and some freezing rain, and also straight rain up towards southeastern Ontario right now. Behind all of this is cold, cold, cold air. It is Arctic air that's going to be filtering in. By tonight, it is actually going to feel like the minus 30s to minus 40s when you factor in the wind. All that slush on the ground, all that moisture, it's going to freeze, causing very, very dangerous travel. Another area that's going to be dealing with dangerous travel is further north of the city. We are in a blizzard warning as well as a snow squall warning for later on today and into tonight. Port Carling through Barrie and through Aurelia. If you're in Waterloo, Grey, Bruce, through Dufferin County, through Huron and Perth, we are going to be seeing dangerous conditions. You take blizzard warnings and snow squall warnings, you take those streamers coming off the lakes, you mix them with incredibly cold temperatures, life-threatening, really, because the bands of snow are going to be really intense, and they are going to last not only through today and tonight, but tomorrow and into Wednesday. So this is going to be a really long event. So keep that in mind. It is not going to be a warm morning. In fact, temperatures are going to cool off. So if you stuck your hand out this morning like I did, went, oh yeah, okay, yeah, all right, 2 degrees, all right, okay, handle it. It's actually dropped already. We're looking at -2 through the city of Toronto, feeling closer to -9 when you factor in the wind chill. It is going to feel like the minus teens by this afternoon, closer to -20 through Hamilton. Once this system moves out of our area, then the winds start to pick up. That's where we see that northwesterly flow. That's where we see the squalls coming off of Huron and Georgian Bay. That's where we're going to start to see the really heavy snow. Some harder hit areas, like I was mentioning, through Huron and Perth and Dufferin, through Port Carling. We could see 60 centimeters of snow. 60, not 16, 60 centimeters of snow. Throwing that Arctic air, very, very dangerous travel conditions. You do not want to be out on the roads in these types of conditions. And if you have to be outside for any extended period of time, cover all your skin, because in temperatures like that, your skin can freeze in less than 5 minutes. Now, traffic this morning, everybody's on their way to work, everybody's on their way to school. Tom, how are the roads faring? Monday, it is January the 6th. Good morning. I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks so much for joining us. Our Storm Watch coverage continues of this very messy system that's moving through southern Ontario. Now, when I got up this morning, I looked out the window and I thought, oh, it is going to be a very slippery commute. And that's exactly what it was. The shins. You really need to pace yourself this morning. At times, I was going 60 on the QEW today, and so was everybody else. Everybody was behaving themselves at 3:30 in the morning. But as for now, well, I'm going to let Tom give you all those details. Here's the radar. The blue is snow. The pink is the kind of mixing, that freezing drizzle, that slush falling from the sky. And then the green is straight rain. Now, once this system moves out, we have got incredibly cold air filtering in behind it. We're talking Arctic wind chills, feeling closer to the -40s to the -30s to the -40s. So you throw that in with all the moisture that's already on the ground, all that slush, all the puddles, it's going to freeze, and that is why we have a flash freeze warning. Now, this is primarily to areas south of the 401, because areas of north of the 401, straight snow. They've been dealing with snow through the overnight hours. So Hamilton, Mississauga, through Oakville and Burlington, This is where we're going to be seeing those really dangerous conditions for driving. Speaking of dangerous conditions, we have squalls and we have blizzard warnings in place. So the snow squall warnings through Newmarket and Uxbridge, through North York, through Haliburton and Huntsville. It's going to be streamers coming off of Georgian Bay throughout Huron and Perth and Dufferin, through Waterloo and Grey and Bruce. The blizzard warning is in place. That's primarily going to be coming off of Georgian Bay and Lake Huron. You throw in wind chills, feeling closer to the -30s, -40s. You've got heavy snow. You've got wind making for poor visibility. You have got life-threatening risk for travel. So just don't do it. Being outside in those types of conditions can give you frostbite in less than 5 minutes. So really, for the next 3 days, kind of plan to hunker down. Just hang out at home. Just stay home. Just don't go anywhere. That's what we're advising people. We're looking at -3 right now through the city of Toronto. It's actually dropped a degree in the last 20 minutes. This is where the flash freeze is going to be coming in. It's feeling closer to -10. By the afternoon, it is actually going to be feeling like the mid-minus teens, feeling closer to -18 through Hamilton this afternoon, -16 up toward Barrie. It is going to be incredibly cold. This low moves out, winds pick up. Here comes the cold air, that northwesterly wind picking up those squalls. Pushing through Toronto tomorrow, seeing a few flurries, but nothing compared to the snow belt areas that could see 30 to 60 centimeters of snow. That's right, 60 centimeters. That's like Huron and Perth and through Grey and Bruce. Waterloo, we're kind of on the end of that. So, 30 centimeters, not out of the question. The further south you go, the less snow you'll see. Keep that in mind if you do have travel plans tomorrow. We'll talk more about this cold air coming in just a moment. But first, I'm going to turn things over to Tom. Tom, how are the roads faring right now? Good morning. It's Monday. It's January the 6th. Our Storm Watch coverage continues. I'm Emily Vukovic. It has not been an easy commute this morning. We have seen snow. We have seen freezing rain, ice pellets, and rain just south of the 401. Now, this depicts everything that's going on. This is now pushing off towards the east. There's the low. It's moving off towards the Kingston, Brockville, Ottawa area with snow, mixing, and some rain. We're not seeing too much of anything right now, but we do have very cold air moving in behind what we have already seen. So all of that slush, all of the moisture on the roadways is going to freeze because we do have Arctic air moving in today and into tonight, making our wind chill values feel closer to the -30s to -40s. So Hamilton, Toronto, Oakville, Mississauga, we are going to be seeing this through Scarborough and Oshawa and Pickering and Ajax. It is not going to be good for travel, especially later on today and into tonight, because like I said, we've got those cold Arctic winds coming in, and that's what's going to freeze up everything on the roads, sidewalks, everything. Blizzard warning, snow squall warning in place. Huron, Perth, Waterloo, through Grey, Bruce, Barrie, Aurelia, Port Carling. It is going to be incredibly dangerous to be out on the roads for the next couple of days with these squalls that are going to be coming off of Huron and Georgian Bay. Now, you throw in wind chills, feeling closer to -30s, -40s, poor visibility and heavy snow. This is something you do not want to be out in. Now we've got Kevin Yard. He's joining us from downtown Toronto this morning. Kevin, how are the roads? What was it like getting down there? Thanks so much, Kevin. We'll talk about the flash freeze and the cold temperatures again coming up. But first, let's take a look at the snowfall forecast. 30 to 60 centimeters with these squalls coming off of Huron and Georgian Bay. Keep that in mind if you do have travel plans. If you do have travel plans, cancel them. Don't go out. If you need to, make sure you give yourself lots of extra travel time and dress appropriately, because with wind chills feeling closer to the -40s, frostbite could happen in less than 5 minutes. All right, Tom, we saw what Kevin saw. What are you seeing? Good morning. Thanks for joining us on this Monday. It is January the 6th. I'm Emily Vukovic. Our Storm Watch coverage continues for Southern Ontario. It has been an absolute mess through the overnight. We have seen snow and rain and freezing drizzle and ice pellets. It has just been gross out on the roads. We're looking at snow areas further north. We're starting to see some squalls pick up off of Huron and Georgian Bay. This is going to be our big story for the next couple of days, as well as very cold Arctic air. We are seeing temperature values dropping significantly throughout the day today, and by tonight it is actually going to feel closer to the -30s to the -40s. So we do have a flash freeze warning in place. Well, it's no wonder. All of that moisture, all of that slush, all of those puddles, they're going to freeze, making for very dangerous travel conditions. That's south of the 401. North of the 401, where we just saw on the radar the streamer coming off of Lake Huron, Georgian Bay, we're going to see streamers pick up. We have blizzard warnings and snow squall warnings in place through Huron, through Perth, through Grey, through Bruce, through Barrie, into Orillia, through Port Carling. Everybody's in a blizzard warning. The squall warnings are through Newmarket and in through North York and Haliburton, Huntsville and Uxbridge. It is going to be awful to be out on the roads. Reason being, you take incredibly cold temperature values, feeling closer to the minus 30s to the minus 40s. You throw in heavy snow and strong winds, poor visibility. It is life-threatening. In the Environment Canada discussion for the warning says it is life-threatening risk to be traveling in these types of conditions tonight and into tomorrow. So this is not just a one little minute event. This is going to pick up in intensity this afternoon through tonight and continue throughout the day tomorrow. Now we've got Kevin Yard. He joins us in downtown Toronto this morning talking about the flash freeze, the cold temperatures. And Kevin, it looks like it is very messy underfoot this morning. Thanks so much, Kevin. We'll check in with Tom in just a moment, but first let's take a look at our snowfall forecast. This is Monday, so today, this afternoon, and this is going to go all the way to Wednesday. Remember when I was talking about it's not just going to be a one-day event? Some areas could see up to 60 centimeters of snow. Thankfully, down towards Toronto, we're not going to see that, but some areas will, so very dangerous driving conditions. Speaking of driving, here's Tom. Good morning. It's Monday. It is January the 6th. Back to work and back to school for many people. Thanks for joining us. I'm Emily Vukovic. Our Storm Watch coverage continues for Ontario. It has been an absolute mess. We are incredibly busy here at the Weather Network. Tom Reynolds is very busy covering all of the traffic and what's going on in the major roadways. So stay with us. I'll be checking in with him in about 2 minutes, so don't go anywhere. Looking at the radar, we have snow to the north. We are starting to see these bands coming off of Huron and Georgian Bay. This is going to be a very big story for the next couple of days. Reason being, it's going to be incredibly heavy. We have very strong northwesterly winds coming in, and they're going to be incredibly cold. It's Arctic air that's going to be filtering in through southern Ontario. So we have a flash freeze warning in place through Niagara and St. Catharines, through Hamilton, Waterdown, through Oakville and Burlington, Toronto, Mississauga, Etobicoke, through Ajax and Pickering and Oshawa. Nobody is escaping this. This is just south of the 401, mind you, so keep that in mind. Every little tiny bit of moisture that has fallen over the last 24 hours is going to freeze. If the roads aren't treated, it's not going to be a good situation for travel. So keep that in mind. This afternoon, our temperatures are going to be dropping, and I'll show you that, but it's more so tonight where our wind chills are actually going to feel like minus 30 to minus 40. Now, we do have a blizzard warning in place and a snow squall warning in effect for Huron, through Perth, through Dufferin, through Waterloo, through Grey, Bruce, Barrie, Orillia, Port Carling. That's the blizzard warning area. The snow squall warning, Newmarket, through Uxbridge, through North York. It is going to be treacherous for travel. Environment Canada has issued these warnings talking about life-threatening travel conditions. Don't go anywhere if you don't have to. This is not a one-day event. This is going to start, as we saw on the radar. It already has started along the shores of Huron, and this is going to continue for the next few days. So the bulk of the moisture is going to go off to the east. The squalls are going to be picking up, and we're going to see a little bit of snow through to the day tomorrow in Toronto, but nothing compared to what they're going to see in the typical snowbelt areas around Huron and Georgian Bay. We're talking about 15 to 30 centimeters in this dark blue. The white on the shores closest to the lakes, that's 30 to 60. I mean, not everywhere is going to see 60 centimeters of snow, but locally hit areas could see the potential for 60 centimeters. You throw in strong wind gusts of about 50 to 60 kilometers an hour with wind chills feeling like the minus 40s. It's no wonder Environment Canada is saying this is life-threatening risk for travel. So just don't do it if you don't have to. Speaking of travel this morning, Tom, how are the roads faring? Good morning. Just after 7, if you're thinking, okay, it's time to get the kids up, it's time to make some breakfast, you need to do it in a hurry, especially if you're heading out, because your commute is going to be a slow one today. We have got storm watch coverage throughout all of southern Ontario. It has just been an absolute mess through the overnight. We have seen snow, we have seen rain, we have seen freezing rain. The bulk of the moisture has now moved off towards our east, but it has left us with a bit of a mess. And now we're starting to see squalls coming off of Huron down towards the Sarnia, London, Waterloo area. Kitchener is going to see some pretty intense snow with this. And behind this system, we have really, really cold air. And I emphasize that because by tonight, it is actually going to feel like the -30s to -40s when you factor in the wind chill. Areas south of the 401 that saw primarily freezing rain and rain through the overnight last night are now in a flash freeze warning. That means temperatures are going to drop rapidly enough that all of the moisture on the ground is going to freeze, making travel treacherous, not only for underfoot, but on the roads, because roads that have been treated with salt, that rain washed it all away. And well, Tom will give you all those details coming up. We do have blizzard warnings in place, a snow squall warning in place, the squall warning throughout North York, through Haliburton, Newmarket, and Uxbridge, the blizzard warning through Waterloo, Grey, Bruce, Huron, Barrie, Orillia. You take heavy snowfall coming off the lakes, you mix that with very strong wind gusts, very cold, strong wind gusts. You've got life-threatening travel conditions. Through the discussion, the Environment Canada warning that was issued, they say being outside for any extended period of time is life-threatening in those areas. Your skin can freeze in less than 5 minutes with these types of conditions. So bundle up. Temperatures will be dropping throughout the day. We have Kevin Yardy's joining us downtown Toronto. Kevin, the roads behind you look like a mess. It does not look good for travel. How's it faring underfoot? Thanks so much, Kevin. We'll check back in with you in just a little while. Quick look at the snowfall forecast. When I was saying heavy amounts of snow, I meant it. We're looking at 60 centimeters potentially through locally heavy hit areas. Wyerton, anywhere down towards the Waterloo area. Waterloo, we're more on the 30 centimeter side, but still up towards the Muskoka area, 60 centimeters, not out of the question. We'll talk more about the flash freeze, the cold temperatures in a moment, but first, here's Tom with traffic. Hi there, good morning. It is a busy day here at the Weather Network as our Storm Watch coverage continues. It's Monday, it is January the 6th. I'm Emily Vukovic. Lots of people are starting to get ready. It's just after 7 right now, and if you're thinking, okay, time to get the kids up, let's get some breakfast on the go, and you haven't looked outside and you're just turning on the TV, do things in a hurry because your commute is going to be very slow. We saw this low move through last night. It brought us snow, freezing rain, freezing drizzle. It has just been a mess. We have got dangerous wind chills moving in behind this system. Keep that in mind if you are going to be traveling tonight. Now, we do have a flash freeze warning in place. This is for areas south of the 401. All of the moisture, all of that, all the puddles, everything that you see on the ground, that slush, it is going to freeze. We have got wind chills moving in tonight, feeling closer to the -30s, -40s. It is going to be awful for travel. Speaking of awful for travel, here we have life-threatening travel conditions towards the north of the areas of the city. So through North York, through Uxbridge, through Newmarket. If you're going to be traveling through Waterloo, through Grey and Bruce, later on today and tonight through Barrie and Orillia, we have got squalls coming off the shores of Huron and Georgian Bay already. Mix that with heavy amounts of snow, strong wind gusts, and really cold temperatures. That could get dangerous. We've got Kevin Yardy's joining us in downtown Toronto this morning. And Kevin, how are things faring on the streets? Thanks, Kevin. We're also going to be joining Mike Arsenault, who is traveling through the Kitchener area. And Mike, it has been cold. It is now starting to see, we're now starting to see the wind pick up and some squalls moving in off of Lake Huron. Just checking the radar. How are things faring where you are? What a busy day it has been here at the Weather Network. Our Storm Watch coverage continues. I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks so much for joining us. If you're just getting up, we're looking at about 7:24 a.m. If you're just getting up and you're thinking, okay, time to get the kids ready, time to get myself all dressed, dress warmly, and you're going to have to hurry this morning because your commute has the potential to be incredibly slow. Tom Reynolds has all your commute details coming up. We have seen snow, we have seen rain, we have seen freezing rain. And now we're seeing squalls coming off the shores of Huron and Georgian Bay. Strong northwesterly winds could be gusting anywhere between 50 and 70 kilometers an hour, causing for poor visibility, whiteout conditions, and then you throw in a lot of cold air and everything is going to freeze. It is not a day for travel. South of the 401, we have the flash freeze warning stretching from Ottawa through Kingston down towards Toronto, Hamilton, St. Catharines, and through the Niagara region. Temperatures dropping significantly throughout the day. They've already dropped about 10 degrees since I've been here this morning. And we now have a wind chill warning in place as well. Wind chills tonight feeling closer to the minus 30s to minus 40s, hence the flash freeze warning in place. We also have blizzard warnings as well as snow squall warnings through Huron and Perth and Waterloo, through Grey, through Bruce, through Uxbridge and Newmarket. These are areas that are going to be seeing heavy amounts of snow. Throw in that wind causing poor visibility and really cold temperatures with wind chills feeling like the minus 30s. That is life-threatening risk for travel. Do not go anywhere. This is going to intensify later on this afternoon, continue through the overnight and throughout the day tomorrow. We have Kevin joining us downtown Toronto. And Kevin, even though temperatures are starting to get a little cooler and roads are a mess, looks pretty busy behind you. A lot of people are out and about starting their commute. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Steve. It's true. You kind of have to waddle your way along the ice because it's going to be very slippery starting later on this afternoon. Here's the snowfall forecast: 15 to 30 centimeters through some areas, 60 centimeters through others. Yeah, 60 centimeters of snow. That's going to be a lot. So being outside an extended period of times in those types of conditions, not good. You can get frostbite in less than 5 minutes. So bundle yourself up, bundle your kids up today. As for the road conditions and the traffic accidents that we've been dealing with, Tom, how's everything faring now? Well, it's cold. It's really cold, but at least we'll see some sunshine throughout the day tomorrow. It is going to feel more like minus 29 when you factor in the wind chill. It will feel like minus 18 come Wednesday. We start to warm up by the end of the week, which I think is great news. For the weekend, we're actually going to be above the freezing mark. Good morning. It's Monday. It is January the 6th. I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks for joining us here at the Weather Network. Back to reality, back to school, back to work today, and we have got a mess of a situation unfolding throughout southern Ontario. Now, if we take a look at the radar, the bulk of the moisture has now moved off towards our east, but we're still seeing fairly decent bands coming behind the cold front. These are coming off the shores of Huron and Georgian Bay. We have got winds that are going to be potentially gusting between 60 and 80 kilometers an hour, and some of the snow is going to be incredibly heavy. Those winds are also coming in from the north, so we've got Arctic air filtering in through southern Ontario. We do have a flash freeze warning in place for areas south of the 401, where a lot of places saw a lot of rain with this system, a lot of freezing rain, a lot of slush. All of that is going to freeze throughout the day today, so very dangerous not only on the roads but underfoot as well. We also have a wind chill warning in place. And if you're wondering, well, if we've got blizzard warnings and squall warnings to areas further to the north, why don't we have a wind chill warning in those same areas? Reason being, blizzard warning, squall warnings kind of trump wind chill warnings. It's more intense. Now, not to say that if you are in a blizzard warning, you are always in a wind chill warning. It's not the same criteria. But in this type of situation, the blizzard warning comes first, wind chill warning comes after. And because we are going to be seeing winds that are, well, feeling closer to the minus 30s, minus 40s throughout the overnight tonight. That is why we have kind of both in place for these areas. So through Goderich up towards Owen Sound, in through Barrie, that's the blizzard warning. The squall warning kind of skirts around it through Uxbridge, Huntsville, Newmarket, North York. It is going to be very dangerous to be out on the roads in these types of conditions. We've got winds gusting from 60 to 80 kilometers an hour. We've got heavy snow coming off the lakes and wind chill values feeling like the minus 40s. Life-threatening conditions for travel. Staying outside an extended period of time, dangerous. You can get frostbite in less than 5 minutes. We'll go to Kevin Yard right now. He's in downtown Toronto. And Kevin, are people prepared for this? Are people going to be worried about their travel later on this afternoon? Good morning. It's Monday. January the 6th. A lot of people back to work and back to school today. We'll talk all about your conditions and the wind that's going to be coming in behind the system in just a few moments. So make sure you stay with us. We've got lots of maps to break it down, and we've got Tom Reynolds. He's going to give us all the details on what's happening on the roads. So looking at the snow, most of it has now pushed off towards our east. So the bulk of the moisture, it's gone. But now we're dealing with squalls coming off of Huron and Georgian Bay. We're really starting to get into the thick of it through Barrie, through Kitchener, through Waterloo. We're seeing snow. This is going to cause a lot of problems in the next few days. We've got cold Arctic air coming in behind that cold front. Temperatures have already started to drop this morning, about 10 degrees since I came in at about 4 o'clock. We do have a flash freeze warning in place, so all of that slush, the puddles, the moisture, all of that on the ground south of the 401 is going to freeze because a lot of areas like Burlington and Oakville and Mississauga saw quite a bit of rain with this system and a little bit of snow. So that's what's making that slushy mix. We have a wind chill warning in place. Temperatures are going to feel closer to the minus 30s, minus 40s by tonight. We also have a blizzard warning and a snow squall warning in effect to areas north of the GTA. Reason we do not have a wind chill warning in these areas is because blizzard and snow squall warnings kind of trump blizzard warnings. Not to say that the criteria isn't there, because it is. We are still going to be dealing with winds feeling closer to the minus 30s, minus 40s tonight, but we are also going to be dealing with very heavy snow through Barrie and Orillia, through Waterloo, through Grey, through Huron, through Perth, Newmarket, North York, and Uxbridge. Winds are going to be gusting anywhere from 60 to 80 kilometers an hour, so very dangerous travel conditions, because you throw in the winds, you throw in that wind chill, and the poor visibility, it is just going to be a nightmare. Some of these areas could actually see close to 60 centimeters of snow. I'll show you that in more detail in just a moment. But first, let's join Kevin Yard. He's in downtown Toronto. He's been talking to folks all morning long. And Kevin, how are people preparing for the flash freeze and cold Arctic temperatures we're going to be feeling for the next few days? Thanks, Kevin. We're already seeing intense snow bands coming off of Huron and Georgian Bay, and that's kind of the snow belt area where people could see up to 60 centimeters of snow, making for very, very treacherous driving conditions. It's not going to be great to be outside for the next couple of days. We'll take a look at your long range in just a few moments, but first, here's Tom with traffic. Our Storm Watch coverage continues on this Monday. It is January the 6th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Emily Vukovic. A lot of people back to their regular routine today, back to work, back to school, and back to messy conditions throughout the lower Great Lakes. We've got snow, we've got rain and freezing rain. For the most part, we're just dealing with snow now, and not even for the city of Toronto. A few light flurries here and there, but we do have streamers coming off the shores of Huron and Georgian Bay, and those are going to be a major issue throughout the day today. Temperatures are going to be dropping significantly. We do have a flash freeze warning in place. They've already dropped anywhere from 10 to 12 degrees since I've been here this morning, which is about 4 a.m. So in the last 4 hours, they've dropped 10 degrees. They're going to continue to drop, and we've got winds that are going to be gusting anywhere between 60 and 80 kilometers an hour, throwing in a wind chill warning. That's what's prompting that. Now, we also have blizzard warnings and snow squall warnings in place. And if you're wondering, well, why aren't there wind chill warnings in those areas as well? It's because the blizzard and snow squall warnings trump the wind chill warning. Not to say that they don't meet the wind chill criteria, because today they absolutely do. It's just that they're more precedent, I suppose. So through Owen Sound and in through Barrie, Orillia, through Newmarket and Uxbridge, through North York and Halliburton, driving conditions are not favorable for today, into tonight, or tomorrow. Environment Canada, in fact, are saying that this is life-threatening conditions throughout the lower Great Lakes with these squalls and the winds. It's not going to be good for travel. We've got Kevin. He's joining us in downtown Toronto. And Kevin, a lot of people on the go today. Everybody's getting back to their normal routine. Thanks, Kevin. We're going to turn things over to Mike Arsenault now. He joins us live from Kitchener, Ontario. Now, Waterloo is in the blizzard warning, so we are going to be seeing very intense conditions pick up throughout the afternoon. And how are the winds right now, Mike? It's Monday. It is January the 6th. Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on the Weather Network. I'm Emily Vukovic. Our Storm Watch coverage continues for Ontario. It has been a messy overnight and a messy morning commute. Tom Reynolds is going to have all your details on your traffic in just a few moments. We'll take a look at the radar. We'll show you exactly how the system is pushing out and what it's leaving behind. Here's the bulk of the moisture. It's off towards Kingston, Brockville, Ottawa. As far as I'm concerned, they can have it because we've been dealing with it for too many hours. We are now seeing squalls really coming off the shores of Huron and Georgian Bay, some pretty decent squalls. Winds have the potential to be gusting anywhere from 60 to 80 kilometers an hour, causing poor visibility on the roads, very slippery road conditions. And speaking of slippery conditions, not only on the roads but underfoot, because we do have a flash freeze warning in place. Now, temperatures have dropped already 10 to 12 degrees since I've been here, so for the last 4 hours throughout the city of Toronto, and they are going to continue to drop. We've got a push of Arctic air that's coming in, prompting a wind chill warning as well. It is going to feel closer to the minus 30s, minus 40s by tonight throughout many areas throughout southern Ontario. All these areas are actually in a wind chill warning. The reason we're not seeing it towards Goderich or Owen Sound and up through Barrie is because they're in blizzard and snow squall warnings. They just kind of they kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They take over from wind chill warnings. They trump them. That's what I wanted to say. It is going to be intense through Huron, through Perth, through Waterloo, Grey, Bruce, Barrie, Aurelia. We are expected to see significant amounts of snow. And this is not just a one-day event. This is going to continue today, tonight, and into tomorrow. It is not advisable for travel when you've got winds gusting anywhere from 60 to 80 kilometers an hour and the potential for 60 centimeters of snow and wind chills feeling like the minus 40s. That is life-threatening risk to travel in these types of conditions. You can get frostbite if you're outside for less than 5 minutes in those types of wind chill values. Kevin's joining us downtown Toronto. And Kevin, are you talking to people how they're preparing for this next cold snap? Thanks so much, Kevin. Well, here's a look at the snowfall forecast. And as you can see, areas south of the 401, we're looking at less than 5 centimeters of snow. North of that, however, anywhere between 5 and 60 centimeters. Incredibly intense along the shores of Huron and Georgian Bay. Blowing snow, poor visibility, and the cold. More on your long range in just a moment. But first, Tom, things are really starting to freeze up out there, aren't they? Good morning. It's Monday. It is January the 6th. Our Storm Watch coverage continues. I'm Emily Vukovic. We have seen a whole whack of different types of precipitation throughout southern Ontario these last 12 hours. Looking at the radar, you can see the bulk of the moisture has really started to push its way out. Pearson picked up about 11 centimeters of snow. Milton picked up about 14 centimeters of snow. I was talking to Tom earlier. Georgetown, he said it was closer to 20 centimeters of snow. So pretty intense as the system moves out. Now we're seeing the bands coming off the shores of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay, and temperatures are dropping. We have a flash freeze warning in place for areas south of the 401, so all of that slush and all those puddles, they're going to be freezing throughout the day today as temperatures continue to drop. Wind chill warnings are in place. We do have wind chill values feeling closer to the minus teens by this afternoon, and by tonight feeling closer to the minus 30s or minus 40. So it is going to be intense. We have blizzard warnings in place through Huron and Perth and Waterloo, through Grey and Bruce, through Barrie, Aurelia, over towards Dufferin County, and a squall warning throughout Newmarket, Uxbridge, North York, Haliburton. It's going to be a mess. Driving conditions in these areas is not recommended. Driving, just stay home. Don't go anywhere because we've got wind chills feeling like the minus 30s by tonight. We've got the potential for 30 to 60 centimeters of snow and winds gusting up to 60 to 80 kilometers an hour. You don't want to be outside in this. We've got Kevin Yard in downtown Toronto. And Kevin, how is the situation faring underfoot? Are you really starting to notice that temperature drop? Thanks, Kevin. We're also going to join Mike Arsenault, who's up in Kitchener this morning. And Mike, the winds, I know are going to be a big issue today, especially for the Waterloo area with those blizzard warnings in place. It's Monday. It is January the 6th. Good morning. I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks for joining us. Our Storm Watch coverage continues throughout southern Ontario. We're going to start things off by taking a look at the radar. We'll kind of set the stage. The bulk of the moisture has moved off towards through parts of Brockville and through Kingston, up towards Ottawa. Behind it, we're dealing with very gusty, cold conditions. We've got squalls coming off the shores of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. Temperatures are dropping dramatically. In the last 4.5 hours, they've dropped anywhere from 10 to 12 degrees. Reason being, cold Arctic air coming in, and that's what's prompting a flash freeze warning for areas just south of the 401. So all that moisture we saw last night, all the rain, all the slush, all those puddles, they're going to freeze, and it's going to be not only dangerous on the roads, but dangerous underfoot. It is also going to be dangerous for you to be outside for extended periods of time. Exposed skin could freeze in less than 5 minutes when you've got wind chills of about minus 30 to minus 40, and that is why we've prompted the wind chill warning. That's where this is coming from. So if you're wondering why it's only through parts of southern Ontario and not all of southern Ontario, it's because we have blizzard warnings and snow squall warnings in areas, and they trump the wind chill warning. So it is still going to feel like minus 30 to minus 40 tonight through these areas, but we have blizzard warnings through Grey, through Bruce, through Barrie, through Aurelia. We have snow squall watches and warnings through Newmarket, warnings, not watches, warnings, through Newmarket, Uxbridge, Huntsville, through North York, and through Haliburton. It is going to be incredibly dangerous to be outside in these conditions starting later on this afternoon. That is when they're going to start to intensify, continuing tonight and throughout the day tomorrow morning. We've got blowing snow. Winds are going to be gusting anywhere between 60 and 80 kilometers an hour. You throw in heavy snow with that and wind chill values feeling closer to minus 35. It is very dangerous to be outside. Life-threatening risk for travel. We're going to check in with Kevin Yard. He's in downtown Toronto. A lot of people out on the roads today. Kevin, everybody's back to their normal routine. Thanks, Kevin. It's going to be cold, and we've got heavy snow through many areas, 30 to 60 centimeters through the typical snow belt. It's going to be localized. Not everywhere is going to see 60 centimeters, but still throw that in with some wind that's gusting up to 80 kilometers an hour. Wind chills feeling like the minus 30s. No thanks. Not good to be outside. Here's Tom now with an update of traffic. We have been busy this morning at the Weather Network. Your Storm Watch coverage continues. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Emily Vukovic. We are in Storm Watch as this area of low pressure moves out of southern Ontario but leaves behind incredibly cold Arctic air and snow squalls off of Huron and Georgian Bay. The radar showing the squalls moving in through parts of Owen Sound up towards Barrie. We are going to see these squalls continue not only for today but for the next few days. Not only do we have intense squalls, we have really cold temperatures developing throughout the day today. They've already dropped about 12 degrees since I've been here in the last 4.5 hours. We do have a flash freeze warning in place. All of that moisture, all of that rain, those puddles, all the slush on the ground, it's going to freeze by later on today. As I was saying, temperatures have already dropped. We do have a wind chill warning in place. The wind chill values tonight are going to feel like the minus 30s to minus 40s. So cold. Keep that in mind if you have to go anywhere. Exposed skin can freeze in less than 5 minutes in these types of wind chills. We have blizzard warnings through Huron, through Perth, through Waterloo, Grey Bruce, through Aurelia, through Port Carling. We have snow squall warnings through Newmarket, through North York, through Uxbridge. Take this snow, which could be 30 to 60 centimeters. Yes, I know that, intense. Combine it with winds gusting to 60 to 80 kilometers an hour, throw in wind chills of minus 30 to 40. That's life-threatening risk to travel in those types of conditions. So don't do it. Just stay home, bundle up, hunker down for the next couple of days. We've got Kevin Yard. He joins us in downtown Toronto. A lot of people starting to get ready for this next blast of cold Arctic air. Kevin, are people prepared? Thanks, Kevin. Here's a look at the snowfall forecast. Like I was mentioning, 30 to 60 centimeters right along the shores of Huron and Georgian Bay. So I would assume, Tom, that travel not advised through those areas. Good morning. It is Monday. It is January the 6th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Emily Vukovic. Our Storm Watch coverage continues for southern Ontario. We're watching a low move out of the lower Great Lakes, but we're seeing it leave behind some pretty nasty squalls off Huron and Georgian Bay, and you can see them on the radar right now. Really starting to push into the London area. We're starting to see squalls in through Kitchener and Waterloo and up through Barrie. Temperatures behind this cold front are also incredibly cold. We have got a swath of Arctic air moving in through the lower Great Lakes. Temperatures have already dropped 10 to 12 degrees in the last 5 hours. Flash freeze warning in place. Things are already starting to freeze up out there. Tom will have a little bit more detailed description of what's happening on the roads. We do have a wind chill warning in place. By tonight, wind chill values feeling anywhere from the minus 30s to the minus 40s. Blizzard warning through Port Carling, through Barrie, as well as through Aurelia. Waterloo, Grey, Bruce, through Dufferin County, through Huron and Perth. We do have snow squall warnings in place for North York through Haliburton, as well as Uxbridge and Huntsville and Newmarket. It is going to be a mess on the roads today. Now, if you're wondering why these areas are not in a wind chill warning, they are, but the blizzard warning and the snow squall warning kind of trump the wind chill, so conditions are still favorable for winds feeling closer to the minus 40s by tonight. Heavy snow, we could see 30 to 60 centimeters in some areas. It is going to be very dangerous for traveling. We're going to join Kevin. He's in downtown Toronto. And Kevin, I know it's slippery on the roads, but how are pedestrians faring today? All right. Thanks so much, Kevin. All right, we do have the potential for 60 centimeters of snow along the shores of Huron and Georgian Bay. Those are going to be localized heavier hit areas with those squalls coming off the lakes. Temperatures feeling closer to the minus 30s and the winds gusting anywhere from 60 to 80 kilometers an hour. Life-threatening risk to be traveling in these types of conditions. You do not want to go out unless you absolutely have to. And if you do go out, make sure you bundle up completely because exposed skin in those types of temperatures can get frostbite in less than 5 minutes. minutes. All right, Tom, we saw what was going on Simcoe Street. What are the highways like? 72 days until spring, Tom. 72 days. Yay. The countdown begins. It's going to feel like minus 29 tomorrow. See how I did that? Gave you good news and then bad news. We are, however, going to be seeing a little bit of sunshine throughout the GTA. It will warm up by the weekend. We're actually going to see values above. Hi there, good morning. Thanks for joining us. It's Monday. It is January the 6th. I'm Emily Vukovic. Our Storm Watch coverage continues from one of the larger storms we have seen so far this winter. Now, the bulk of the moisture has really started to push its way east, but we're being left with incredibly cold Arctic air and squalls coming off of Huron and Georgian Bay. Temperatures have been dropping dramatically throughout the morning hours. They've already dropped about 12 degrees in the last 5 hours. We do have a flash freeze warning in place. South of the 401, a lot of areas saw rain and just kind of slush falling from the sky last night. Well, all of that, unfortunately, is going to freeze, making for not only road conditions, but underfoot conditions really, really dicey throughout the day today. Temperatures are going to be so cold that they've prompted a wind chill warning. It's actually going to feel more like the minus 30s to minus 40s through the overnight tonight throughout the lower Great Lakes. We have a blizzard warning in place through Huron and Perth and through Waterloo, Grey, Bruce, Barrie. Orillia is going to be seeing some heavy snow, so is Port Carling. Snow squall warnings in place for North York through Halliburton and Uxbridge and Newmarket. It is going to be such a messy couple of days for these areas. We also have a wind chill warning in these areas. The reason it's not here showing it is because the blizzard and snow squall warnings kind of trump the wind chill, so it meets the criteria. It's in there. It's not only going to be feeling incredibly cold, but we're going to have heavy snow with winds gusting anywhere between 60 and 80 kilometers an hour, so poor visibility on the roads. Environment Canada, in their discussion for these warnings, is talking about life-threatening travel risks, so don't go out unless you absolutely have to. Kevin Yard joins us in downtown Toronto. And Kevin, it has been colder as you've been standing out. Every hour that goes by, it gets a little bit more on the cold side.
And the roads be slippery, and this guy's having a hard time back inside of the studio. I can't push the bus. It's too heavy.
Thanks, Kevin. What do you mean? I thought you were strong enough. We're going to check in with Mike Arsenault. He joins us in Kitchener. Flurries are already starting to fly. We've got some lake effect snow on the way, don't we, Mike?